mental health, mental health issues. Mental health is such a big topic these days. And to me, in regards to mental health, the only real issue is that most of us don't really understand the whole movement, the operation of that thing, that part, that element of our mind, that of many names, which plays many roles within us. You know, we never really, none of us really understand the true impact of that thing, that part, that element within us, within our mind, that you cannot be separated from. It is you. It is completely necessary. And that thing I'm referring to is thought, or your thoughts, or my thoughts, or thought, you know. Now, are thoughts specifically your thoughts, or specifically my thoughts? Are they? I don't know. That's another video in itself. But the point is this: that thing, that part, that element of your mind, which I just call it thought. You know, in previous videos I've referred to it as self-talk, but from here on out, you'll only hear me refer to it as thought, and it has many names. It plays many roles, you know, within us, and I've had to write them down. To be honest, it's got that thing within us, within our mind, that part, that element has been given so many names by us that I've written them down. Here we go. So, the inner voice. You might refer to it as the inner voice, or you might have heard people refer to it as the inner voice. The voice in the head. Again, self-talk. The imagination. Again, this thing I'm referring to, this part, this element of the mind, I simply refer to it as thought. Now, it's often labelled as imagination. The imagination is just thinking, creating something by thought, something created by thought. That's imagination. The conscience, again, your conscience, having a heavy conscience, is just thinking about things you've done wrong. It's just thought, yet again. The ego, another word we use to describe this thing. Again, ego is just thought. Ego ultimately means what you think of yourself, the psychological image, the thought-based image you've created of yourself in your mind. Belief. Belief is just thought, you know. Someone says to you, "Do you believe that?" And you say, "Yeah, I believe so." In other words, all you're saying is, "Yeah, I think so. I believe so. I think so." It's the same thing. Intention. Intention is thought. To have the intention to do something, which means you're thinking about doing something. Intention is thought. Sorry. Opinion. What you think about someone. That's an opinion, you know. Judgment, similar thing. Demons. People talk about having demons. You know, it's not demons. It's just thoughts about something which has happened, or something what you've done. You know, that's all demon. A demon is just a thought. So the word thought itself is a descriptive word to describe that thing, that part, that element of our mind that just seems to have a life of its own. And again, I just simply call it thought, but it's completely understandable why people do call it the inner voice or the voice in their head, because we think in words. You know, when we're born, we have no knowledge. The mind starts recording. From the day we're born, we record everything we see, and memory, it's stored in our brain or in our mind, wherever. I'm not a brain scientist. Maybe it's stored in the brain. Maybe that's the right way to say it. But memories are stored in the brain, you know, and words. We learn words. We record words we hear as a child. They're stored in our brain as memory, and then we attach words. We think in words. You know, the words we've learned. We think with the words we've learned. I don't know if you see that. We think in words. So naturally, when you hear your thoughts, it sounds like an inner voice because we think in words. And you know, again, as I said at the start of this video, you can't live without thought. It's not something that can be removed. It's part of you. It's completely necessary to think. You know, how many times a day do you have to intentionally think about something? It's think about what you're doing at work, thinking about what you've got to do after work, all completely necessary. And, you know, you might want to sit down on your lunch break at work or at college or wherever you are and think about something you've done the day before or someone you're going to see later, or just think about something which makes you feel good. And that's a beautiful thing, you know. Thought is a beautiful thing. Thought is not the enemy. Please let me make that clear. I'm not suggesting in any of my videos that thought is the enemy. It's not. But thought, this thing, this part, this element of our mind, which I'm calling thought, just seems to have a life of its own. When we've stopped thinking intentionally, when we've stopped thinking with a purpose, and then we go about our daily life, that thought just rolls on and on and on, you know, and it just clouds our immediate sensory perceptions. And you know this because you become aware of it when, generally speaking, you become aware of your thoughts when you find yourself in a completely quiet surrounding, you know. You wake up in your bedroom first thing in the morning, and it's completely silent, and you become aware of your thoughts. They seem that much louder because the room around you is silent, you know. And you become aware of your thoughts, and a lot of people don't like it. How often have you heard someone say, I don't like it when it's too quiet because I can hear myself think. And let me put some music on. It drives me, you know, we want to run away from it. And but it's fascinating just to be able to see thought, this thing, this part, this element, this thing of many names within our mind. It's fascinating just to see the whole movement of it, its whole operation. When you really see the whole operation of thought, which this thing, which I'm calling thought, that's true liberation. The mind, you are your mind. And to be aware of the movements of this thing, this element of your mind, there's no mental health issues. Again, the only issue is we create distractions, we drink, there's turbulence within us. There's turbulence created by thought, in other words, thinking about what we've done or thinking about what might happen, or worrying. Worry is just a thought of what might happen or what has happened or what might happen again. Thought is a beautiful thing, but thought creates turbulence within us. Thought affects our feelings. And when you see all this, There's no issue. When you really, to really see something is to understand it and see how it operates. And that's what I'll continue to talk about in these videos. If anyone's watching these, all the best, and I'm very grateful. All the best to you. Thank you. And on to the next. All the best. Take care.